Oh, it looks like we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spit Bucket Podcast. Now, I'm doing things a little bit different today. There's no intro music or anything along those lines. I have you'll see here in a little bit, I have a special guest, and we're sharing audiences, and there's licensing issues and stuff like that with music, so we just disregarded it. But I want to make sure you're good. Hold on, real quick. All right. Anyway, man, hold on. I'm seeing my bad. We're having some trouble. Anyway, let's just get to it. Spit Bucket Podcast, episode 114. Going through a little bit of technical weirdness, but let's get through it. Very special episode today, man. First off, welcome back again. Thank you guys for joining me again. A very special episode. We got a special collaboration tonight. If you're a YouTube boxing guy, if you're an IG boxing guy, I'm sure you've seen this dude's work. The crazy thing about this boxing world, man, is you think you know it all, but there's a lot of us doing this, and it's impossible to catch everybody's work. And then, I hate to say it, there's so many of us, there's so many that are doing really good work, but there's a lot of stuff in there. There's noise and fluff and fake news. So every now and then you'll find somebody that's a refreshing, unbiased, real boxing fan. And for me, that's what pound for pound boxing is. Oops, I let the cat out of the bag. Well, that's who our guest is, man. Let me take a second. You guys help me introduce Erick from Pound for Pound Boxing Channel. What's going on, brother?
Appreciate you, champ. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, real quick though, dude. It's. I know we were doing a shared audience. Did you get an alert?
Let me see, bro.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're doing this right. Ain't no rush. Don't worry. We're not working for no networks. We got a good show lined up for everybody, and great talk. But let's just make sure we get the technical aspect of it. It's telling me it's not sharing on yours.
Huh? Let me see, brother.
Yeah. Is that share to your audience button still there?
It says go live. Okay, I think it looks like the stream was deleted. Okay, I think it deleted it on my end. Let me just save again real quick, brother.
All right, cool. Yeah, do your thing, man. Do your thing. Anyway, in the meantime, while pound for pound gets that together, man, just as I was saying, we're gonna be doing a lot more of these collaborations. We'll be bringing the best content creators in the sport, and no fluff, just all real talk. How you looking there, Erick?
It says it's good on my end, but I'm not too sure. What does it say on yours?
Your little deal has a little yellow triangle. Right when I started, it said that you deleted it and they had let you know. Oh, it looks like I can hit a go live. Let me see. No, it says it looks like your stream was deleted on YouTube. We informed them so they can fix it. So when I go live, it doesn't on your end.
Okay, let me see. Because it says it looks like the stream was okay. Let me redo it.
Yeah, if you want to hop off right quick and then just use that original link I sent you and hit share to your audience.
Okay, let me restart.
And in the meantime, I'm gonna tell some jokes or something, bro.
I got you.
No, I'll wait for. I'll see you here in a bit, dog.
All right.
Anyway, let's give you all a rundown what we're gonna cover today. We're gonna have the recap of the weekend, Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman, our takeaways, good takeaways. We have the Itama Franklin fight. What a knockout. Our takeaways, what it means to the division. We're going to take a quick look at the future of each respective division, 154, and the heavyweights following Itama. And then we're going to preview this weekend's big fight, the return of, looks like he's back. Return of Deontay Wilder and Chisora. How you looking there, big dog? Let's see. I think that's still the old one. I'm gonna wait for him. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna preview Chisora and Wilder, and then we're gonna talk a little bit. Obviously, I didn't mention this specifically earlier. The Xander Zayas and the Boots and this fight that's got the boxing world talking. Take a look at these comments. Pound for Pound is back. How you looking, dog?
You see me, brother? You see me?
I see you. I see you.
Here, let me try this one more time, brother. I think I know what's going on. Let me see.
And worst case, bro, I can just send you the recording so you can post it later.
That could work too, brother. Let me just try this one more time.
Yeah. What up, Al Money? Hey, do me a favor. Oh, I was gonna clear out some of your work, share it with my audience, and I forgot to do that. But yeah, if you hadn't checked out Pound for Pound, bro, go check it out. He does some amazing breakdowns of the sport.
All right, you know what? Let's get it, brother. We'll worry about it after. I'm excited to talk with your audience too, my man.
Already, bro. Yeah, we'll work out the technical aspect of it a little bit later, man. So eventually, your audience will catch this on your channel. Salute to you guys. But on the Spit Bucket channel, I would imagine most of my audience already knows who Pound for Pound Boxing is. He is a big presence on here. But this is live streaming on X. And I know Pound for Pound is new to X. So let's do a little bit of icebreaker, bro. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you been a fan? How long you been in the game? Tell us a little bit about Pound for Pound Boxing channel, dog.
Yeah, bro. Well, I started the channel like I want to say like a year and a half ago, bro. You know, I always thought about it, but I never really, took it into consideration until I started going to the fights, started getting close to the fighters. You know, I started realizing it could be possible, man. You know, everybody's pretty cool. We got people like yourself giving me a big opportunity, man. So I appreciate you. And apart from that, bro, it's just the love for the sport. You know what I mean? I've been watching the sport for can't even imagine, bro. I was a kid when Marquez fought Pacquiao in that fourth fight, man. And that's really what got me in that fight. My older brothers would always watch the fights, man. But when I saw that knockout, bro, I knew this is what I'd want to watch, bro. So ever since then, I kind of kept my ear out throughout high school. You know, I'm only 24, but throughout high school, I stayed watching it. You know, I saw the Mayweather Pacquiao fights, and eventually, I started getting really hardcore right after high school, man. So I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to be here, man. And let's get it cracking, man. Let's talk boxing.
Good stuff, bro. That's good stuff, man. I appreciate it. And you listen, I'm gonna just take a second for you to pat yourself on the back. I appreciate you for the opportunity, dog. You got an extremely large following, and you do great things. Like your work it's obvious that you take your time on breaking down your work. So, and your opinions are legit and unbiased. So much appreciation, dog. I feel like there's a community of us. And I want everybody to listen up for this part. There's a community of us that are working together to build each other up, to build the sport up. And that's what we're building. Channels like us, Pound for Pound, like the fellas we had on last time across the globe. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, building each other. The age of gatekeeping is over. We working together. We building up this sport, man. So big shout out to you, Pound for Pound, Eric. And thanks for joining the show, dog. But let's get it, bro. Let's get straight to it. We're going to do our, let's take straight from the jump. The Fundora, Sebastian Fundora defending his WBC strap against Keith, one-time Thurman, dog. Look, we won't spend too much time into this fight specifically because at the end of the day, it went down the way most boxing pundits expected. A little bit too much for Keith Thurman. Sebastian Fundora using his size, his range, and comes out with the, I believe it's a 6th-round knockout, if I'm not mistaken. What are your thoughts on the fight, brother?
Man, I think, Thurman, I got the Thurman treatment. I'm looking like Thurman right now. You know what I mean? I sparred a little bit, man. Shout out to the 16-year-old that whooped my ass and got me humbled. But,
good shit, bro. That humbleness, baby. Humbleness.
Yeah, humbleness, bro. And you know what? I'd be lying, bro, if I didn't sit here and think that Thurman was going to win, brother. But, I shout out to another boxing guy. Boxing-wise, we had a little bet going. We had a little bit of a feud. We had some videos. And the only reason I believed, in Keith Thurman was based off the fact that, I've seen Fundora. I like how he looked against Tim Tszyu, but I just felt like, it was one of those things where it's his size that gets him away with it. Because I see the skill, but, I've seen a lot more skilled fighters, and I just thought Thurman has the better feet. Though he's been out for a longer time, he's a veteran. He'll know how to fight. He likes to throw looping shots a lot, so I just thought the overhands were going to be there to connect. But, man, I was wrong, bro. And I'm happy I was wrong, bro. I'd rather be wrong than right because when I'm wrong, I'll learn from it, and then I'll get better at, knowing what to pick next time. And, man, when I tell you that Fundora changed my mind, dude, I don't know if this guy could be beat. At least I don't know about 154, man. This guy looks like a really strong guy to be dethroned.
Bro, and that's why I was about to open it up. So a couple of things, dog. Just to piggyback off that, I always say I don't give a damn if I pick every fight wrong for the rest of my life. All that means is we're getting good fights and good matches.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, look, I was opposite of you. when this fight first got announced, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, whatever.
Mm.
And as we got closer, I'm gonna be honest. I listened to you and Boxing Wise, and then I had the homies from Red Corner Boxing on. They started making those points. The fact that the last time we really saw Fundora up against a real competition was pre-elbow Tim Tszyu. And
Yeah.
then I started like thinking like, shit, man, but I couldn't commit to a pick to Keith Thurman because at the end of the day, inactivity is real, dog. Ring rust is real. But to the point you just made, and I said this before the fight, and I have it documented. It's on the live stream, so I'm going to prove it. I said, I feel Fundora, a top level Fundora, his peak level could give Thurman problems 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
definitely see
I agree with you. Fundora can now give anybody trouble in that division, dog.
hmm I definitely agree with you, bro. But you know what? Apart from the skill, and shout out to his dad or his coach, man, because the fact that it's not just him, but it's his sister doing it, and then I hear they got even a younger sibling that's doing it, that's even better than they are, is crazy, man. Shout out to their coach. But the one thing I wanted to say, apart from the skill, what really changed in my mind for him was the confidence, bro. Ever since he beat after that knockout, that Brian Mendoza knockout, he really came and reset his whole style, man. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? He started jabbing a little bit more. He started learning how to fight using distance a little bit more, how to cut off the guys using a jab, and I think that just boosted his confidence. They say that once you become a champion, you become 30% better, and I could literally see it with Fundora. So, yes, to answer your question, I think if he would have fought a prime Keith Thurman, it would might have gone down the same way. Maybe Thurman would have given a little bit harder fight, but essentially, I still think Fundora would have taken him apart in the later rounds, man. What's scary to think about? Do you remember when Errol Spence was supposed to get this fight with Fundora?
Oh man, bro. Yeah, exactly. He told. Matter of fact, I might have been the first channel to have that because I
Oh, no
forgot where
way.
that was, but and Sebastian was so confident. Oh yeah, for sure. Errol Spence is next, bro. Errol Spence and the entire city of Dallas better be thanking their lucky stars that didn't happen. No, I'm not
And
kidding, bro. Bro, and here's what's crazy. I'm not one of those fans that's gonna sit on my opinion for the rest of my life. I
mm,
was wrong about Sebastian Fundora. Even though I picked him to beat Thurman, I picked him to beat Thurman just because like I haven't been that impressed with Thurman in years, bro. But I would tell my pops because my pops is my boxing source, right? And I could never take Fundora seriously, primarily because of his stature. But then what he
mm,
continued to allow himself to do, allowed himself to be a target and get in there and make himself vulnerable to the big shots. But he snapped out of it. And now that he's working that jab, using that distance, it's scary, bro. I'm completely switched my tune on him. He's a problem for anybody. If he one day is undisputed, I would not be surprised at all, dog.
yeah, facts, man. I can
Yeah.
completely agree with you, man. And what I love is just the fact that we got so many 50-50 fights at the 154 division.
Yep.
We got Boots, we got Xander, we got Virgil.
Right.
Look at that, man.
Yeah,
Zayas
exactly.
versus Boots
You
just
stole
got
my
signed.
thunder, dog. Like leading to that. We heard
Yeah.
the news. It's official. It's official now. 23-year-old Xander Zayas defending his two straps against who most people are picking, the seasoned veteran and Jerron Boots Ennis, bro. Like, this is a fight. This is a fight for real belts. This is a young, hungry champion. Dog, what are your thoughts?
I gotta give props to Xander, man. Because
Facts.
honestly, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I've always said Top Rank is such a good company, but especially for prospects. It seems like they know how to groom you the proper way. They give you a couple guys that you're supposed to beat. And you know what? Xander, to me, he's fought some good competition, especially in his last two fights, but he's never fought somebody like Boots. But the fact that he's only 23 years old and he's willing to, say, Boots, let's get this fight on, that speaks volumes, man. And that's apart from him winning, losing, or drawing, I got to give him credit for that at the end of the day. That's the mindset of a champion. Now, will I say I wish it was Virgil? Of course, man. I think,
Facts.
Virgil's been fighting the top competition. He fought Madrimov. He fought a bunch of fighters already. And I would want to see that. But at the end of the day, Xander's here. Xander's ready to fight. And I'm excited, man. I want to see the best man win at the end of the night. But I don't know, man. Xander's
Yeah.
got a big task in front of him.
I agree 100%, dude. To your Virgil point, it's sad. The sport must move on, though, dog. And,
Yeah.
you know, so, and we'll touch on this here in a bit because we are going to touch a little bit on the rest of the division and landscape of the division. But going back to the Xander and Boots thing, I, it's a double-edged sword, bro, because, yeah, look, he got the heart of a champion and all of that. But I always like to go back to and I'm not sure how shit, you always throw in historical videos, so I'm sure you're fairly well versed. But when Fernando Vargas got thrown in there with Felix Tito Trinidad,
Mhm.
Fernando Vargas was on fire. No, and the difference is Fernando Vargas was a knockout machine.
Yeah.
Xander's not such a so much a knockout machine, but I believe I wasn't a huge Vargas fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this because I was a Vargas fan, but I can say this as somebody who wasn't a Vargas fan. I believe that fight stunted his growth, his development. Like it going up there against somebody like a Tito Trinidad, he knew when he would to land those low blows. Like everything was so calculated because he was a savvy vet. It
Yeah.
stunted his growth, bro. So what if this is too soon for Xander? And I don't mean this disrespectfully because I've already had so many Boots and his fans telling me, "Oh, there you go," making excuses. I'm just saying, I don't give a damn who wins this fight, but I just think it
Exactly.
might be too soon.
Facts. I mean, that's what most people assume, right? Most people are thinking that. But on the other side of the coin, we've never had Boots fight necessarily an elite fighter. Now, the last guy he fought, I'm forgetting his name, the Russian guy. Doesn't come to the tip of my tongue right
Boots,
now. Yeah, Boots.
the Karen dude. Oh no,
Yeah,
not Karen.
the guy
Sta-
he collected.
Stanion. No,
No,
yeah,
not
Stanion
Stanion.
right.
Yeah. Sanyones.
Yeah, my
Good
bad.
fighter, but he had been inactive for a minute because remember
Yeah,
he was going to fight Virgil, and then Virgil got sick a couple times, and so he had to wait it off. And you know what? That was still a good fighter, but Boots also has never fought an elite fighter. That's one thing we're forgetting. He passes the eye test, no lie. We all see his athleticism. We all see him fight like a damn near prime Roy Jones. But at the end of the day, he's not Roy Jones. He hasn't fought all those guys yet, and he still hasn't been proven. Now, yeah, of course, he's been a champion. We could give him that credit. He's a world class elite fighter, but now he could prove it at the biggest stage. And not just that, bro, but let's talk a little bit about the undercard. Did you hear the rumors going on that Emiliano Vargas might be fighting George Kambosos?
I saw that, but I saw somebody smash that rumor, bro.
Oh, wow.
But after somebody smashed that rumor, Emiliano still came out and tweeted, it would be a dream or something like that.
Yeah. I also saw
Bro.
that Shushu Carrington will also almost be fighting what's his name, Venado Lopez.
Yep. That one I think's got some legs, and hell, both of those. Oh, Shushu Venado. Just thinking that out loud. Just thinking. Hey, real quick, let me just shout out to Red Corner Boxing, the homies
Yeah,
from
for
Red
sure.
Corner.
Shut up, bro.
Hey, meet pound for pound, meet Red Corner. These are
Let's
all
go,
the
brother.
homies, man. But Red Corner says, sorry, I can't see. My screen's too little right now, but I threw it up there for y'all to see. Anyway, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in. But yeah, dog, that fight there, that card has the potential already to be a loaded card. I would love to see. I've been waiting for Boots to cross that star level, and somebody like a Venado. How would you see that playing out?
Venado versus Carrington?
Yeah.
Man, you know,
I meant
I
to say
love
I
Venado.
meant to say Shushu. I think I said Shushu, but yeah.
Yeah. Shushu.
Yeah.
Venado, you know, great fighter. I don't like that he keeps his hands down, man. And we saw that. We
Yeah.
saw how it went
I
the
don't think
last
he
time
likes
when he
it
got knocked
either.
out. You know, so Shushu comes to me like a boxer puncher. You know what I mean? He's got that boxing skill, but if you mess up just a little bit, and he showed it in his last fight, he could put you to sleep, man. So I would lean more against, you know, Shushu just because he's a little bit of a safer pick and he has that boxing ability. But man, we're in for a fight. If that fight does get confirmed, which I wish it does, I think that would be a great way to open up Xander versus Boots. My question to you is, we all agree that Boots is probably going to win that fight, but what could Xander do in order to beat Boots?
That's a hell of a question, bro. Now you are, yeah. We did what we said we weren't gonna do, and that was go off topic a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all in the love of the sport. Yeah, bro, 100%. Let's get back to that. But I agree damn near with everything you said. Boots passes 100% the eye test. I am never gonna be one to say who has he fought though. The concerns I have from Boots is damn near, it's almost a check mark on everything, but I see him take big shots. big shots
Mm.
that land flush. Yes, in response to everybody who has comment on any of the times I say that, yes, every fighter gets hit. But I'm talking about the shots that you don't see, the ones that end the night. I have seen Boots get hit with those, obviously from guys who don't pack a punch. Like Alexander's not a big puncher, but more the outlook of the division. That's the one thing that I'm still not 100% sold on Boots yet. I do think Xander has the boxing skills to maybe confuse Boots a little bit, man. But I honestly, dog, I honestly, I don't mean this disrespectfully to Xander. I don't necessarily see a route yet. Yet, I just don't see a route for him yet, bro, to beat a Boots. I want to hear your thoughts.
I think that's fair, man. I think we just haven't seen enough of Xander as
Yes,
well,
bro.
right?
I would be
It,
making
it,
things up. You know what I'm
Yeah, it's
saying?
kind of like it's a mystery, bro, because we could say it's a 50-50 fight. In reality, we all know it isn't. But at the end of the day, we don't know because Xandor hasn't been to that next level yet. And who knows? Pressure either makes diamonds or burst fight. You know what I mean? So it could go either way. We will see, but nonetheless, I will tell you this: whoever wins will be a superstar in that division.
Oh man,
Now, we
all the
just
leverage.
mentioned we mentioned Fandora. My question is who's the best at 154 in your opinion?
That, yeah, that's on our. I literally was gonna ask you that. We can, dog. What's so crazy about this is my answer right now is. Here's how I feel about Sebastian Fundora. I feel
Okay.
like he can give anybody trouble, but I feel like the names can present a threat if no, you know what? I got to stop looking at Brian Mendoza. Dude. He
That's
has
a different fighter.
Fedora has completely changed his game.
Yep.
So let's go to answer your question. You have Virgil. A year ago, Virgil Ortiz would have been my answer. Um, ring rust is real.
Hmm.
Inactivity is real. You have Xander with the two belts, but I just haven't seen enough. Bro, you kind of have to say Sebastian Fundora, dog. This is weird.
Yep.
I would never have expected myself saying this. What about
Yeah, I would
Jermell
say the same
Charlo?
thing, bro.
I'm just
I would
kidding.
say the same thing, bro, especially after Saturday. And I know it was just, a guy that had took such a long layoff, only had two fights in the last 4 years. But nonetheless, man, it's like you said, he has a new type of confidence. He has the skills, he has the height, he has the reach. He looks like he has good power, at the division. And honestly, I will put him at number one right now. I will say out of all the younger guys in that division, because that division's stacked, man. We got Virgil Ortiz, Jerome Bootsen, and Xander Zayas. For crying out loud, we still got guys like Madrimov, Keith
Josh
Thurman,
Kelly.
Jermel Charlo, Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
And did you see Charlo, everything he was saying after the fight?
Yeah, that's why I laughed a little bit ago. That dude
Yeah,
was
man, that
on
guy.
one.
I
Let
hope
me
he comes back, though, man.
Oh, that dude is he's a firestorm, man. I would love to see him back. He's good for the sport, but I want to make sure that guy is healthy up here. I
Yeah,
want to make sure
facts.
because this sport takes a lot out of you, dog, and I don't want to see that guy we just saw Saturday night. I don't want to see him even thinking about fighting right now. But let me take a step back because I can always rely on my guys from Red Corner Boxing. Thank you
Yep,
very
yep.
much for the super sticker, brother. Um, I'm gonna. Never mind. I don't say Sebastian. Sorry. You know what I'm doing? I'm doing this recency stuff, bro. Virgil just fought.
Yeah.
I still feel he. It's not like he's been active. I think what I'm doing is foreshadowing his layoff. I'm. I'm.
Okay.
I'm already imagining as if we've already gone a year and a half without seeing him fight.
Yeah, I see.
In my opinion, right now, if we get the very best version of all of them, I would say very best version of all of them, Virgil, Boots, Fundora. That's if we have the very best version. But we'll see. That's why we watch the
That's fair,
fights,
brother.
dog.
And I will say this, bro. Out of everyone, going back to what I was gonna say, I think Virgil has the best chance of beating someone like Fandora.
Mhm.
We know he's a pressure fighter, and I feel like the only way to beat someone like Sebastian Fandora is you can't fight him at distance. You can't fight like Keith Thurman moving around using your footwork. You got to stick on their chest, bro. You got to smother their long arms. You know that you can't let them get around you, and then you just got to go to the body, man. And that's Virgil's best asset. My thing about Virgil is he does get hit as well. You know what I mean? Will he be able to take those shots from Sebastian Fundora? I think he can, bro, and I like Virgil for it. But right now, I gotta go off the recency bias and say, well, this guy has a strap. Virgil's never collected a real belt. unfortunately, because I'm such a big Virgil fan. But nonetheless, that's how I rank it right now. Apart from that, though, I will make this statement. I know we don't want to get all over the place, bro, but I don't know if Boots could beat someone like a Fundora stylistically, because Boots is going to use his athleticism. He's quick, he's fast, but again, to beat that style, you got to stick on him. You know what I mean? And Boots could do it, bro. But I don't know. I that's what I think. I think Virgil has the best chance of beating Fundora.
Yeah, so let me break down the Fundora Virgil, Fundora Boots. And for me, bro, it's a mental thing. And I'm not saying Boots doesn't have mental, but I said this about Keith Thurman. I said Keith Thurman is going to have to come to terms with, if he wants to win this fight, he's going to have to be in the depths of hell. He's going to have to bite down on that mouth guard and get in there. If you ask me which one of those two fighters between Virgil and Boots would be more okay with that idea, I think it's Virgil. I think Virgil is more okay with saying, yeah, this is going to be hell. While I see Boots a little more hesitant, a little more, let's box it out. Let's box it out. And that's not how you're going to beat Fundora, dog.
Great minds think alike, brother. I'm there with you.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking this kind of as we unfolded, like here in this discussion, which is why I love doing this shit. So thank you. But going back to the Virgil thing that a lot of people don't talk about, people look at his fight with Bohachuk and they see that as a negative thing because how it ended and it was controversial, and the draw and the knockdowns, if you want to even call them that. I've watched that fight a million times. What my favorite thing about that fight from Virgil was, you could literally see him switch it on. He wanted to box, and then when he wanted to brawl. And he did both so effectively, bro.
And
so
he's starting to get better at that boxing as well, man.
Bro, he's a great boxer. He's a very underrated boxer. So if he has to turn it on just for the sake of showing different games against a Fundora, if he has to, man, because just like you can't find somebody to spar against that's going to match what Fundora can bring. Well, if you've got multiple tools in your toolbox, you can confuse Fundora and you can have him guessing and sparring. You know what I mean? So there's going to have to be some mental side of it. And between Virgil and Boots, I would give Virgil those check marks on who has a better chance of beating the Tower and Inferno, dog.
Yep. And facts, it's like you said, the experience plays a factor. And in my opinion, I think Virgil's fought more styles, he's had more of a look into the championship level. You know, he's gotten so many fights in there that you're starting to question, how's this guy not a champion yet?
It's
you know
crazy,
what I mean? Like,
bro.
It's crazy. I've been watching him for years now. Like, he's gonna get a title shot next.
It's coming.
Unfortunately, that whole thing with the Golden Boy, the whole deal's going on. So all I pray for is that he gets that taken care of, man, and we could see him back in the ring.
100%, dog. Like I've always said this. I'm fighter first. I love Golden Boy. I respect the executives. I love all of that. But who's sacrificing themselves? They have to understand the business side. Like I got Virgil's back, but at the same, it's very similar to the Shakur. Like, look, I'm a big Virgil Ortiz fan. I don't like to ever show my fan hat, but if you're wondering, like, I'm a big Shakur Stevenson, a big Virgil Ortiz fan. But when Shakur Stevenson walked away from the 25% offer from Devin Haney instead of calling his bluff, I thought that was a mistake from Shakur.
Yeah, you could say that was ducking, man. To be honest, I'm more of a Shakur fan too, but
you got to call it like you see it. Yeah, and now with this Virgil thing, like, bro, the sport is blowing right by him. And if I was sitting next to him saying his homeboy, I feel like I would just go get the fight done. He still doesn't have that highlight fight in his career. This could have been it. Take the $3 million or whatever the hell Golden Boy was asking or offering, and go set your career up. But.
That's exactly what I was thinking, man. That's what I was thinking, man. Because sometimes I feel like fighters, they want that person. I get it. Virgil's already a pretty big name, you know what I mean? But they got to understand sometimes is, worst comes to worst, if I beat this guy, best comes to best, I beat this guy, I don't only just get the belts, but I get the recognition, and now I could ask for more money. You know what I mean? But like you said, brother, at the end of the day, we're not the ones taking the shots for them, and I'm pretty sure they know that. So respect to both sides of the party, man. Like I said, I'm a fan of boxing, bro. I want to see the best fight the best, and that's all I want, man. You know who we need back? We need Turkey, bro, because where's Turkey been at, man? I don't like that he went with Dana, and now he's not in the picture. You
I want
know,
to bring up Turkey's probably ducking and covering right now. There's too much shit flying out there. I don't think he's thinking about setting up a fight, man. That's
that is true, brother. That is true,
all right.
man.
Well, moving on, guys. And great point by Red Corner Boxing. Shakur is the real deal. Sorry, man, I'm having trouble with my mouth, so that's why I'm not throwing up as many comments right now. I don't have a producer like you guys do. But anyways, moving on, man. Let's talk about the big boys. Where we at?
Yeah,
Where we
man.
at? Where we at? Boom. We had the phenom, the 21-year-old sensation Moses Itama coming out against a very durable Jermaine Franklin. Never been stopped, and he's been in there with some giants. Bro, Moses Itama, dog, he lit it up. He did what we all wanted him to do. And my favorite thing about it is we got some rounds in.
Yeah.
We got some rounds. He got some experience. What are your thoughts about Itama's devastating stoppage over Jermaine Franklin?
You know what, brother? I hate to be one of those people on the hype train, man.
What you got?
I hate to be one of those people on the hype train. But
Oh,
nonetheless, brother, this guy's looking like he could be the new Mike Tyson, bro. And I'm not even playing, bro. I'm not talking
mm-hmm.
about the scary part. I'm talking about the fact that he's knocking everyone out, bro. And the way he's doing it, it's not just because he has power. He's not an Edgar Berlanga that's just knocking everyone out because of the power. You could see the skill set behind this young man. What I like more than everything is that he's not super big. He's what, 6'4"?
Mm-hmm.
So that's fairly,
Six three.
average to the shorter side. And I love that, bro, because if you go back in time, all the greatest heavyweights, they were shorter fighters. They weren't these giant, 6'9" people like Wilder and Fury. Though those guys are entertaining, bro, I feel like the best heavyweights of all time have always been in that range of 6'4", 5'11", six
Yeah.
two. They've been a little bit shorter. And the reason I say that is because when you're smaller, you're a little bit more aerodynamic, bro. You can move a little bit better. You're a little bit quicker. And what I love about this guy, man, look at his feints. Every time he fights,
Oh,
every time he gets a knockdown, this guy uses those feints like you're supposed to do it. And that's textbook fundamentals, bro. On my channel, we always talk about the fundamentals, and I love the way this guy works them.
brother, the feints, the level changes,
Mm-hmm.
just confusing him. Man, everything about that performance, and then sprinkle the fact in that he's only 21, bro.
Oh, I
He's
forgot to
only,
mention that.
bro, he's only 21. I made this comment the other day saying he's not as strong as he's going to be a year from now. And he's
Nah.
not as smart as he's going to be 2 years from now. And
Mm-hmm.
the experience is going up and up and up. Dog, this guy, like, people hate hearing comparisons to greats, and I get it, especially Mike Tyson. That dude is on the all-time. He's my favorite, not just boxer. He's my favorite celebrity. I met Mike Tyson
Yeah.
in 2012, and it was the moment of my
Last
life.
time, man.
and but
I
you
hope
got
you
to.
didn't get him on a bad day.
Oh hell no! He took a sip of my whiskey,
Oh,
and he didn't
no.
like it. And he gave it right back. I got pictures of it, not video, but no, thank God it wasn't a bad day. It was a good day.
Yeah, yeah.
But going back to Atama, bro, we were talking about this. I think there's a difference between electrifying and dominating. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had dominating heavyweights, but it's just not enough to bring in a new crowd or to captivate the world, to captivate your next door neighbors and your coworkers that don't necessarily watch this. I
Mm-hmm.
feel we haven't had electrifying since Mike Tyson. Like, just I
Yeah,
went
I
through the
see.
eras the other day. Somebody mentioned Deontay Wilder. Yeah, you can kind of call that electrifying, but not when the competition stepped up.
Yeah.
So, do you see Moses Itama like when in terms of electrifying? Is this the first electrifying heavyweight we've had in a while?
Okay, so skill wise, yes. Definitely. Fighting wise, yes. Commercially sold? No, not yet. I think he's got to build up his resume, and more importantly, he's got to come to America. He's got to be one of our American guys. That's the only way they're going to get respect. And that's one thing I kind of don't like about our side of the pond. You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
almost
man.
always discredit people from the other side. But again, I said it on one of the videos the other day. I said, you look at the heavyweight division, everybody that's good is over there right now. We don't have nobody on our side other than Wilder and Jared Anderson. Jared
Mm.
Anderson was supposed to be this next guy coming up, and shout out to him, good fighter, but he got knocked out.
Yeah,
And I,
man.
I get that it happens, but nonetheless, dude, Moses Otama has that style. He has the power. He has the skill set. Now, I don't want to just throw him in right away with Alexander Usyk because I don't think he's necessarily there yet. But man, I promise you, you put him up against anyone in the top five that could beat Kabayel, Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois, Fabio Wardley. he might just beat most of those guys, and that's the scary part, man. That I don't know if they'll put him in there yet, but I can see it, bro. And if he does, he just needs to come to America.
Yeah,
Once he comes to America, overnight superstar.
easy, bro. Easy, dude. Like I put up a list just before we got on to try to like go down and see who. Obviously, there's Usyk. You know that I don't know that he's there yet. But here's the thing. Usyk will be all right, let's say hypothetical. And I always like to remind people of this because they forget about this shit. I'm always bringing up the mental side.
Yeah.
If Usyk were to fight Itama, it would not be the biggest fight of Usyk's life, but it will be the biggest fight of Itama's life. His preparation, his focus, his discipline, everything about it. Usyk's already made a ton of money. He's already cemented himself in the Hall of Fame. So that's what I always say about defending your belt. You're going to be fighting the best version of the dude in front of you. He wants what you got. You can't just say, oh, look, he's a kid or he ain't fought nobody. No, just like we were talking about Xander and Boots, I think those guys are going to elevate each other. Same thing here. Itama's young, bro, and you throw him against any of those guys. Yeah, I'm looking down the list. I don't see, bro, like, you know, obviously Fury presents a size thing, but dude, I don't see here's one for you. Again, shout out to the homies from Red Corner because they brought this up. But you talk about a not tall, not a big old stature heavyweight. What do you think about Richard Torres and Itama down the road?
You know, that's a good fight, but I think Richard Torres, like I said, he's a top rank, man. So they're gonna, you know, they're not gonna push him as far as they're gonna push Otama right away. They're gonna build him up the proper way. And if I'm not mistaken, he was supposed to be fighting last week, right, against the Cuban Flash, but he got hurt or something like that.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, Sanchez had to pull out.
Yeah, that would have been a great fight, man, and that would have been a perfect test for him at his young age. I think definitely, bro. You know, if he gets built up the correct way and Moses gets built up the correct way, dude, their roads are right there to have a mega fight in the future. Nonetheless, dude, we still have a young Daniel Dubois. We still got Jared Anderson. The future of the heavyweight division is looking very bright. But going back to everything, I like that you mentioned the fact that Usyk said, you know what, this guy's too young. Because let me say something, man. In the sport of boxing, speaking historically, what made fighters great was the fact that they stuck around until they fought everyone. If we look at Muhammad Ali, the reason I consider him great isn't just because he's the face of the sport or because he said a lot of good things about humans and stuff. It's because he fought in his prime. He was out for a couple years. He came back. He still fought the best. And then when he was on his way out, he still fought the best. The people coming up, the Ken Nortons, you know, the strongest fighters. He fought three of the biggest punchers, you know, George Foreman, Ernie Shavers, Sonny Liston. The guy fought the biggest punchers, bro. And he fought all the way until the end. Now, I understand today's mindset in boxing is a little different. Let's play it safe. Let's retire before the sport retires us. And I'm 100% with that. But if you're going to hold the belts hostage, if you're gonna fight for the belts like Usyk, have you ever seen The Dark Knight?
Oh hell yeah!
You remember that line where it says you either die or you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain, right?
Yep.
That happens with every fighter nowadays, bro. Usyk fights the best, right? He's right here, but now he's fighting a kickboxer in Egypt for the belts. I don't like that, man. And then we have Canelo, also fought great fighters, but he didn't want to fight David Benavidez. And I'm okay if you want to say, I fought all these fighters already, I don't need to fight them. But at the end of the day, don't hold the belts hostage, man. Let these young, hungry guys get an opportunity. Because if you don't, that just makes the sport look bad, man. And we don't need that, you know? Props to Usyk. I just want to see the fights, man.
Can you hear that? Can you hear the audience clapping?
Yeah,
bro, standing ovation, dog. I feel like you stole my boxing diary. Bro, because what's so hard to understand about that? You know, like it's not a difficult concept, but okay, let's look in the perspective of the boxer now, though. You know, do you think Usyk gives a damn what we think about like this legacy anymore, bro? Like they live.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, so how do you enforce this? You know, like this fight with a kickboxer. Sorry, slap in the face to boxing. Yep. Just like Floyd fighting Conor McGregor. Just like we name a million things that happened in the last decade. Is And it all comes from the vulnerability the sport leaves by not fighting each other. It's a
It,
terrible. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
We,
I'm 100% there with you, brother. You know, and I get that. You know, if I were them, I would think the same thing. Why do I care what you guys got to say? But again, if you're a fighter that fights for legacy, which I do believe 100% Usyk and someone like Canelo do, you know, they only not only fight for money, because let's be honest, they can retire today and live like millionaires the rest of their lives. They don't have to have one more penny in their pocket. But you're in the sport for the legacy. Like I said, great fighters have done it before. They fight until they have nothing left in them. You know what I mean? And all I'm saying is, if Usyk says he wants 3 more fights, he said it's this guy that he's going to fight in Egypt, the kickboxer, possibly the winner of Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois, which I don't mind as long as it's not Daniel Dubois winning, because why would I care to see the third fight when you beat him convincingly twice, you know, and knocked him out in his last fight. And then the third fight, I don't know if he was joking or not, but he said Tyson Fury. Man, I do not want to watch that. I love me some Tyson Fury, bro, but I think he's past his best, and I even think Otama would still give him issues right now, because Tyson
I
Fury, you know, he's great in everything. He has good boxing ability, but he's a little chinny, man.
Oh yeah, a little chin. Yeah, he's very vulnerable with that, bro. And it's again, it's the ones you don't see coming. And I think he just gets so damn defensively irresponsible in there
Mm.
sometimes, man. But so who, if you had it your way, before we move on to this weekend's fight, if you had it your way, how would you want to see the next 12 to 18 months play out? Not winners, but matchups, because there's a big pool. It's exciting right now for the heavyweight division. What do you want to see match up? Who do you want to see come out and fight?
Okay, well, that's a great question, man. I obviously want to see Usyk, you know, fight a champion. Dude, there's this guy that no one seems to mention for no reason. I think he's one of the better heavyweights. AJ Caballero, man. That
Yeah,
guy's a
man. I was
killer as
curious why you
well.
hadn't brought him up because I think I saw him on one of your posts earlier or
Yeah,
something. But
yeah,
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 bro.
yeah.
Caballero, dog.
That guy's underrated, man, because that guy's body works phenomenal, man. You don't really see a lot of heavyweights go to the body like he does. He's already stopped good fighters like Zhang. He stopped a couple good fighters, man. Makhmadov, the guy Tyson Fury is gonna fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to see Usyk fight him instead of this, you know, kickboxer. I'd like to see Fabio Wardley do his thing with Daniel Dubois. Props to Dubois because he's fighting the best. I
Facts.
would like to see Joseph Parker back in the mix. He just took a loss. I'd like to see him possibly fight Anthony Joshua again. Anthony Joshua's coming from, you know, the devastating accident, and I know his mindset's not all the way there. And then maybe after that, he can make the big fight with Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? The one we're all still wanting to watch before it gets too late. You know, and then, you know, Otama, I think Ergovich is perfect for him next, because
Yes,
he's a
sir.
fighter that's going to give you really good problems, and he's in that top 5 category, but it's someone that's still, you know, dangerous and someone you could definitely still beat. So that's just my personal opinion. I just want to see the best fight the best. And then one more, you know, why not have Gile Zhang fight Bakoli? Two big old heavy dudes
Mm.
that are a little older, you know what I mean? That's a monster fight. And I know if Turkey was still in the picture, you know what I mean, that fight would have possibly been possible. But you know, we're just hoping and, you know,
No, bro,
wishing
but
on.
here's a beautiful thing. Like, this is the difference in right now than years in past years. Listen to all the possibilities right now for
Mm-hmm.
exciting heavyweight matches. And we all know as the heavyweights go, the sport goes. And there's so much potential right now. We just gotta hope to God that the
Yep.
powers that be and the suits make these fights happen, man. Because right now, boxing is at a place where, yeah, all this drama's going on with Zuffa and all this stuff. But if we just ignore that and put these fights on, man, it could really change the trajectory of the sport back to something what we were used to. Now,
And
speaking of fights that we're all looking forward to, the
oh
heavyweight
yeah, yeah.
division, we got the return of Deontay Wilder and Chisora this weekend,
Bomb
bro.
squad.
Deontay Wilder, you know, 10 years ago, this conversation would have been fire. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, bro? Is this a legacy fight, cash out? Is this relevant at all to you? Are you excited? Talk to me.
I don't care what it's for, man, but I want to see the fight. Why not, man? These guys, you know what's funny, man, is that you could say both of these fighters are washed, right? But the fact that Del Boy, you know, Chisori, it's almost like he's been washed for a minute now, right? But he's
Yeah,
been washed
bro.
so long that it's like he picked up a second win. Because he's been having
100%.
good wins. He beat Otto Wallin, Joe Joyce. He's been back on the come up. So I'm just excited for the fight, man, because there is two big personalities. This is the type of fight you need. I'm pretty sure it's going to sell out wherever it's going to be over there in the UK. I think it's a big commercial fight, at least out there. Here, I definitely think we'll still get a lot of eyeballs because it's Wilder. I'm pulling for Wilder. I hope he wins. But realistically, style wise, I think Chisora is just, he's going to drown him, man. He's going to
Yeah.
throw a lot of punches. He's going to duck under his shots. We know Wilder had a hard time with Joseph Parker that likes to throw those looping shots and go underneath those straight right hands. And I think Chisora's going to do the same thing, brother. But that's going to be an exciting fight, man. Can't wait to watch
Yeah,
it.
it's definitely a don't blink fight, man. It's gonna be a don't blink fight. I think there's a 0% chance that thing sees the final bell. And I don't know that Deontay Wilder is. I know you're saying throwing loot. I just don't know that with stiff competition in front of him or somebody that could crack back. I think he is just mentally there, bro. Or out of there already. I don't think it's a. I think for a lack of better terms, I hate. I know it comes off disrespectful. I just think he's washed now. He's scared to throw a big shots now. He's afraid of what's coming back. He gets confused in the ring. We remember the infamous 360 in there against Zhang, bro. So it's like I'm honestly worried about him this fight because one thing Chisora's doing as he gets older. He's just getting more gritty and just bringing the fight even harder. Deontay Wilder's kind of taking the foot off the gas, and it scares me a little bit because when he first got signed, Wilder said, "I know one of us are going to sleep," and it's like he's almost like he's come to terms with the possibility that he's going to sleep again. So I'm with you on this one. I think it'll be exciting until it isn't. It's gonna be, and I just think Chisora's got too much in the toolbox. Everybody in the world knows what Deontay Wilder is going to come out to do. It doesn't take real rocket science to prepare for, especially at this stage of his career, that Deontay Wilder. So it'll be a fun boxing weekend to talk shit, that sort of deal. But man, this is definitely, we were just talking about the future of the sport. This is definitely, all right, man.
You know what? I think we need to go back, and I think we need to go back in time. Wake up Dominic Brazil just so Wilder can knock him out again, bro. Because that's the only guy I can see Wilder actually beating again, man. And all respect, brother, it's a joke, but yeah, man. I mean, look, Wilder's always going to be great for the sport. I don't care if he's washed or not, but that's because he has such a love for it. The guy's funny as hell. The guy knows how to act. The guy knows how to put on a face. You know what I mean? And you know what? In his prime, I don't know if it would have gone a little bit different, but I definitely see what that side of ferociousness that's gone that you were talking about. I feel like back then he almost had like another side to him that he could click on. You know what I mean? Maybe if he could, turn back the hands of time, he could come get that again. But I don't know, man. Chisora's not one of those guys that's going to keep his head on the line for you to have that right hand thrown. So again, bro, great minds think alike. I think Chisora, I don't know if he stops Wilder, but you know what? I'm gonna say, yeah. Let's do late stoppage, man. Late
you're calling a late stoppage?
Late TKO, I think, because I don't know if Chisora has enough power to have him like a one-punch knockout, but I think he could drown him for sure.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how I'm envisioning it. I'm envisioning a fight where Wilder's again. What was it? What fight was it? Was it Zhang where he wasn't throwing, just not throwing? Like
no, that was Parker. So that was the fight before Zhang. That was Joseph Parker. And
that's right. That's right.
Beat, man.
Yeah, and I see something like that again where he paralyzes himself. I want to take a quick shift on Wilder's mindset, though, dog. Again, now you made me feel like Dr. Phil over here because I keep bringing up the mental piece. But did you see him on? I know we talked about it. Did you see him on Piers Morgan? I'm not going where you think I'm going. I'm going to talk about the mindset piece of it. Did you hear any of that?
Yeah, not the mindset, bro, because I've only seen what gone viral, bro. And
no. I'm going somewhere with this. Okay. And I'm not going to get into the details. If you haven't seen it by now, go to X or go to YouTube and look up Deontay Wilder, Piers Morgan, and he explains how he became a father. And it is a wild, and some people would say delusional. And that's where I'm going with this, bro. Deontay Wilder, I feel like what he said today, and we're talking outside of the ring now. This isn't boxing. I think it encompasses, man, my walkout uniform was big. I didn't lose that fight.
He takes it to water.
All of the Wilder things.
Yeah.
we're seeing it peep its ugly head again, bro. Like he said that his mother-in-law or I have to say that just so y'all not just look at me like he said that the pregnancy occurred by essentially his baby mama's mom. Never mind. It was bizarre, bro. It was bizarre. It was Deontay Wilder being delusional again, not even having accountability to accepting his consequences there. Like, is Wilder still okay up here, bro? I don't know. What do you got to
That's the
say on
question,
that?
bro. And you know what? I always say this all the time. I feel like Wilder and Fury took each other's prime away.
Yeah.
Those three fights were so hard on their bodies that after that they were both never the same. Because if you remember Fury before he retired the first time, he was moving a lot more. You know, he was a little bit more boring, but he was getting the job done a little bit easier. And obviously, Wilder was getting all those knockouts, even if you want to say they were bums or not. The way he'd set him up, the way he'd add speed and add different timing, that had a science behind it. After those three fights, they really took each other there and back, man.
Yeah.
They're not the same no more. And that going back to what you said, the statement, I don't know if he's all the way there. You know what I mean? I hope he is. Like I said, I hope he is. And if he's not, let this be your last fight, brother. If you win, win with the fashion, bro. If you lose, keep your head up, and we'll thank you for the years you've given to the sport, brother.
Fact.
But sometimes it's time to go, and it might be time to go for both fighters. Actually, that's the funny part.
Yeah, man, I think so too. And like you said, they gave there's some incredible years and some incredible. And listen, Wilder injected some life back into the sport, bro. We didn't have a heavyweight boxing scene for a while.
For a minute.
The Klitschko's and Lennox Lewis took that from us. So Deontay Wilder, probably for your generation, hell, your generation as a kid coming up, was that new excitement. I want to be the heavyweight champ when I grow up, like what Tyson was for me and Holyfield, Larry Holmes, those guys. So he pumped some blood back in the sport.
Yeah.
So for that, I'll thank him. Yeah, he said some loony stuff outside the ring before. But there's no doubt that the tide is turning in the heavyweight division, which means the tide is turning in the sport. And there's a whole lot to look forward to. Hey, if y'all want to know what happened, I'm not going to throw these comments up, but if y'all want to know what Wilder said, just read the comments. Red Corner Boxing put it up. Thank you, Red Corner. Always Mr. Dependable. But anyway, bro, that's all I got. That was fun. I don't know if you got anything else you want to cover.
Nah, brother. I think we're good to go, man. Hey, just to make sure, Pro Grace I saw that you had him, bro. Good ass interviews. I liked them. Is Pro Grace still fighting on the undercard against?
Yes, according. I know we were, we're talking about that offline, but yeah, he's there was the rumors. I straight up asked him like, where did that come from? He didn't know where that came from. But I even looked at what the hell was it on Zuffa's Twitter. There's no pictures of Regis, but there was one recent tweet where it said Regis versus Conor Ben. So yeah, it's still going. He tells me he's leaving tomorrow for the UK. And bro, he's confident, dog. Like we still have a little bit of time left, but what are your thoughts? I mean, let's talk that real quick, just straight from the dome.
I like Regis, man. I like that he's a warrior. I like that, he's always coming and calling out the best fighters. And, I started watching Regis a while back when he, fought Josh Taylor and he had a good fight. And then I wanted Chon Cepeda to come back and, beat him. But unfortunately, he beat my guy. But you know what? Shout out to him, bro. I think after the Haney fight, though, I don't know if it was a mindset thing or if maybe he just, it wasn't his night or something. But I haven't seen Regis the same, man. He's a great fighter, but I don't know. I haven't seen him the same since that night. And being the fact that they're going to fight at 150, I just don't see how that favors him, bro. Conor Ben just is coming down from 168. I know historically, usually the guy coming back down in weight has a hard time, but Conor Ben's in his prime right now, man. And he has a ferocious style, so who knows, man? Hopefully Regis, it was the weight, and hopefully he could give us a really good fight. But if I had to pick, I'd have to say I see Conor Ben stopping him.
Yeah, man. This one is because like you said, all the logic, right? The big guy, fighting the little guy. A good big guy is going to beat a good little guy.
Facts.
But here's the thing. Conor Ben's been saying, I want to be WBC champ at welterweight for so long, but why aren't you fighting a welterweight? What's so hard about getting down to 147, dog? I know there's been big money fights, gigantic money fights, life-changing money fights, but bro, we're talking about the highest level of this sport. You can't just snap your fingers and say, "Hey, I want to be a welterweight again." And this is 3 pounds off. So I'm looking at it from Regis's perspective. We just saw Chris Eubank look weight drained as hell against Conor Benn, who we're talking about right now. So a couple of things. We haven't seen the ferocious knockouts from Conor Benn since the PDs, and again, I'm just saying facts. I'm not throwing accusations. That weight is significant coming down. I mean, that's a big 10. That's 10 pounds, bro. Like that's could be significant.
Yeah.
Especially if you ain't fought there in years. And then I'm not that crazy about Conor Benn's style. I'm still living off of that Chris Eubank fight, that rematch, the fight of the year. But I see I see two things. This fight could be explosive, by the way. It could be a fun fight to watch. But I could also see what Regis is saying. Look, I'm healthy. I ain't cutting weight. I don't have to worry about it. He was eating chips on the damn interview.
I seen that.
Like
I seen that.
compared to Conor, who's having to come down to his lowest weight he's fought in years, there could be an advantage, bro. So if we're just talking about youth, momentum, obviously size, you got to lean toward Conor. X's and O's, they're both kind of at the same level for me. But we'll see, dog. It's a tough one to pick just because there's a lot of uncertainties.
For sure, and I think the whole thing going back to him wanting to be champion, that's what I said too, man, because I like that Conor Benn's one of those guys that wants to call out everybody. He literally called out Rolly, Ryan, Haney, Shakur. He calls everyone out, and I like that mindset. But if you really want to get this done, you got to actually be there in line to fight. I think Zuffa, man, I don't know how I feel about them yet, and I don't want to judge them right away because they just started, but I think they're tricking fighters, man, because you see with the whole J.L. Pataya thing, they told him, oh, yeah, come fight with us. And he said after the fight to Max Kellerman, oh, I still want to be undisputed, man. I still want to go get my belts. And he told him, no, you're already undisputed.
That was the most awkward ass interview ever, dog.
And,
he was like, no, you're undisputed already. No, I'm not.
And then they ended up stripping the guy, and it's like, damn, now what? You got to start back over, bro. And I don't know if Zuffa's telling them something we're not seeing, but again, Conor Benn's getting paid a bag for this fight, so I understand why he went. It's just at the end of the day, you guys got to decide, man. Do you guys want to go to the new side, but that new side's going to do their own league, their own thing? Or do you want to commit to the old school boxing? I see someone like Ryo, he's getting posted by the UFC like he's a superstar as Zuffa. Good for him, brother. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's not we all know the truth, man.
We know.
You know?
Yeah,
we know.
and you're not going to be able to lie to us, and that's what this isn't the UFC where that was they raised that audience. They raised that fan base from the tiny little fucking garage fights they used to have. They raised that shit. And I don't mean shit because I respect the UFC, but they manipulated their thought process, their buying habits, everything, bro.
Yep.
Boxing has been around for over a century. And we know we don't need Zuffa ranking or you to tell me this ugly ass belt is like, we know you can't manipulate us like UFC fans. And that's the big difference. The sport existed before you guys. You guys damn near created y'all sport. So if they think they're just this, we should save this conversation when we're on your show, bro. Yeah, we'll move it back to yours. But I've been doing my very best to, because I'm not anti-Zuffa at all. I'm trying my very best to commend them when they do something well, and then question them when they don't do something well. They're putting on events or giving opportunities to like the lower level fighters who normally wouldn't have paydays. But we saw them. Somebody must have lied to Opataya. Conor Benn seemed a little confused about what his situation was. He's a Zuffa fighter, but this isn't a Zuffa event. Like what? It's just so cloudy,
it doesn't
bro.
make sense, bro. There's too much confusion going on. And going back to what you said, man, like the UFC has its own league essentially, right? Its own MMA. So everybody in the UFC only fights people in the organization. Now, how do we really know they're the best? If they're not fighting guys in Pride, they're not fighting guys in other
Exactly.
stables. When Alex Ferreira came, and I'm not a big UFC guy. I'm not even a casual, but I know a little bit. When Alex Ferreira came from wherever he came from, kickboxing, and transitioned to UFC, he was able to, beat, I believe it's Izzy at the time when he was on a hot streak. And that's him coming out of nowhere. How do we not know in the UFC that there's other fighters from other leagues that are a lot better than the people in the UFC. They don't want to give them a shot. You know what I mean? And that's the cool thing about boxing, man. Like, yeah, you got your PBCs that don't want to work with other fighters, but for the most part, they're all under the DAZN umbrella now, bro. We got Top Rank, Golden Boy, Matchroom, Queensberry. We're gonna see the fights happen, bro. Boxing's in such a good space right now. Not only that, but you could say what you want to say about Jake Paul, but he brought a whole different audience of casuals. These streamers nowadays, I see a bunch of, the Neons, the Oblivions jumping on
Hell
board
yeah.
with Ryan, with David Benavidez, with I think Arnold Barboza was on one today. That's good for the sport, man. It's opening the doors and eyes of many people who had never experienced boxing before.
See, bro, and like, look, I don't have too many conversations with somebody that's your age that's with this versed in boxing. I either have to talk to somebody who like knows their shit, but they're old, but like your shit. So it's cool to hear you talk about these streamers. Honestly, I don't know one from the other. Like I have enough shit on my plate. I don't know who the hell is who's. The fact to hear you say that is great. And I know you're not being no type pushing no narrative. Now take it back real quick. Are you good on time?
Yeah, we're
All
good,
right,
bro.
cool. The DAZN thing, bro. That is probably the best news for boxing in a long, long time. That everybody's landing there. Obviously, the exception of PBC still and TGB doing their thing.
Mhm.
I think that's the last one to fall, and I think eventually they're gonna have to make a decision because
Yep.
you guys do for pressing down your throat, and then you've got the entire old guard of boxing moving to DAZN. That's the only way it's gonna work.
And honestly,
Sean Zettel spoke about it. His idea was going everybody to Prime. I don't care where they land. These guys are
yeah.
there. And another thing, though, bro, you mentioned earlier, Top Rank kind of likes to marinate their guys and build their fighters. Do you think DAZN is going to put some pressure on Top Rank now that
Yeah, hell yeah.
ESPN wouldn't?
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. Because we
There
look
you
at
go.
Matchroom, we look at
Yeah.
Queensberry. Those guys are always losing. Eddie Hearn's on a horrible streak,
Hell
bro.
yeah.
But that's because that's boxing, bro. That's the golden age of boxing. Is when fighters lose, it doesn't mean he's not marketable no more. He's worth nothing no more. It means what? He still has a good fan base. He still fights. He's still hungry. Let's give him another shot. Let's put him in there with another hungry competition. Going back to what you said about the PBC, I love the PBC. I love their production. I think they've always been good to around the sport, but they're gonna have to eventually come in, bro. I know they just signed the deal, with Prime Video, but bro, they need to come to the zone, man, because a lot of their fighters, if you haven't realized, they're older fighters, man. Essentially, you got the Errol Spences, the Keith Thurmans, the Charlos. But it's a new era of boxing, bro. It's like you said, you got to come over here. You got to get this work, man, because I'm willing to now pay that subscription, that $45 a month. They might just up it, but now it's a little bit more worth it because there's so many companies under one umbrella now, and that's just great news for the sport of boxing.
100%, bro. I couldn't agree with you more, bro. Well, cool, dog. This was a great conversation, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I know we've been talking about it for a minute. Those of you guys on watching on Twitter, y'all please go give him definitely go check him out. Hey, one more time, it's Pound for Pound Boxing channel, right? Can you tell everybody where to
Yeah,
find you?
it's P4PBoxing channel on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I need to open up my X account, man, and get
Bring
on
it.
there with you guys.
Come
And
home. Come
yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah.
Come
I need to
home,
get on there,
bro.
man. I'm gonna create an account today, brother. But yeah, it's the same name on every umbrella, pretty much. P4P Boxing channel. So make sure you guys check me out. Hey, thank you once again, my man. I love the talk. I appreciate you getting me on board, and let's do it again sometime, man. Thank
Most
you.
definitely. We'll definitely run it back, bro. Much appreciation. Have a good night, and we'll talk soon. Hopefully, we'll see you for Benavidez
Oh yeah,
studio
for
soon.
sure. Facts.
All right,
We'll
bro.
be
I'll
there.
talk to you soon, dog.
Hell yeah, brother. Take
Later.
care.
Take it easy. All right, all right, all right. That was Pound for Pound Boxing channel, man. That dude, that's a cool dude, man. Cool dude. He knows his stuff. He knows and y'all got to check him out. When you go to his channel, it's not just boxing talk. He'll go and break down. He'll break down sparring. He'll break down the importance of jump roping and why it's important. Real educated stuff. Real informative. No bias BS. Hell, you heard us go down the list of things we disagreed with some of our favorite fighters. So, hey, Red Corner Boxing, look, my mouse is super tripping, dude. Like it literally. So my bad, I couldn't put nothing up for you, Jams. Or I'm not sure if it's you or Neutral on right now, but couldn't put the comments up. But I was reading them because they were coming in. I really appreciate you tuning in as always, brother. But Bucketheads, thank you guys again tuning in tonight. Y'all don't forget, please hit that like and subscribe button. And follow Spit Bucket on all platforms, man. Gonna keep on bringing interviews. Got a lot of good content coming up. Let me see who's our next interview. I can't say that yet. All right, we keep working on it, but we will talk soon. No exit music because this was streaming on my home on Pound for Pound stuff. You guys have a great night, and I will talk to y'all soon.